Hi, my name's Rob Ryder, talking out of Cornwall in England. I'm just probably, excuse the lighting, we'll come to something in a minute. We've got an issue. This is why I've got to do it in the bedroom at the moment. So I'm trying to get the best light I can, this little talk. It's probably going to be called Medical Despotism, New Book, and Coco the Dog Broke His Leg. So that's what it's called. So the light isn't great, but I'll put a link below to the new book, Medical Despotism. This is a new book I've wrote, The Health, Economic and Political Program That Can Kill You. So this is my book that I've wrote with Patrick Quanton. So in a few of us may know in other videos, especially on the Rumble channel, which I'll put this on Rumble, because one of the interviews in Patrick has been deleted off YouTube. So they're on my Rumble channel, which I'll put a link to below if you're on YouTube. So Patrick was a medical doctor for 18 years, and in it was about 2000, 2001, he literally walked out overnight. He'd had enough. He realized he was causing more harm, and basically, just think about it. 20 odd years of pay is lost as a medical doctor, golden handshakes, pensions, whatever. Imagine the financial cost to him that. But his conscience wouldn't allow him to carry on, and he walked out. Walked out to study the human condition, because you want to understand health and disease, you have to understand the human condition. So I've been working with him for about 10 years, and that's majority of where I've got my knowledge from, other areas as well. So this is the second book me and Patrick have done together. We did another book, A Conscious Humanity, Freedom, Morality and Natural Law, which is purely about the human condition. So this book, 400 pages, is like the new improved, if anyone knows, I did the book during the lockdown, Medical Fascism, How Coronavirus Policies Took Away Our Freedom, How to Get Them Back. So that was my story with my research, with the information I had at the time. Now, what, 3 years have passed? Is it something like that? I'm more than happy now that my story has been backed up by long-term data. So what I've done is asked Patrick now to revamp the whole story of the last 3 years, the history behind it, where it's going, and Patrick's joined me to put the science into my research and data and the story, if you want to store it, what I've put out. I'm not building myself up here, I'm building Patrick up. There are very, very, very few people in the world who understand health, disease and the human condition like he does. I'll mention one or two names. It's very limited what I can say on social media, so you'll have to figure out what I'm trying to say through what I'm saying. Dr. Stefan Lanka, Dr. Sam Bailey and Mark Bailey, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, Dr. Tom Cowan. These are the mainstay of people who are on Patrick's level. I'm not saying there aren't any more, but the main people that we know of who have put themselves out there to talk about the nature of disease. So Patrick goes beyond all that, just as I know these doctors do, thinking about life, energy, the universe, conscious energy, creation, all these things. He's on that level. So it's a privilege for me not only to study with him for 10 years, but that he has the confidence in me to be willing to pen a book with me about the human condition. And then now this one about the medical system we're in, how it's affected over the last 3 years, where this began. You have to go back 150 years ago, where it's leading to us, and the way out. Yeah, the way out of empowerment and control over your own health. As we'll come to in a minute about Coco the dog, I do talks on natural health, and I always mention, listen, if you get run over by a bus, you go to the hospital. Yeah, natural health and healing has got nothing to do with physical accident and trauma. Yeah, you get yourself stitched back up, and then you go into natural healing. Yeah, this is no criticism on medical science as it comes into saving lives in trauma. Yeah, they do incredible things. Problem is they don't understand the natural healing systems of the body and what healing is. That's the big problem, which we go into in this book. But the main part of the book is in the alternative research, there's a lot of people who understand a global control conspiracy, should we say? But again, I'm just saying how it is. You know, I've studied this subject for just the medical system alone for well over a decade, and the whole global conspiracy since 2008-9. People, and I'm quite a newcomer. But on this, I will say I do know what I'm saying about. I'm not trying to be arrogant. This is ego aside. I do know what I'm talking about. There's very few people could have penned this book. There's a few people I know. Again, you've got the medical experts I've mentioned, but you've got non-medical people. There's a lady called Anne Leishon who did a chapter in this book called Death by Lockdown, because there was a lot of information coming in and I needed help. I needed someone I could trust. And this is a same as me, non-scientific medical expert who I could trust to do the real research. There's another lady called Tracy Northern who's just published a book, and you've got Dawn Lester. There are other people out there, but I don't think anyone's put it in this context of the whole agenda, because what I've also studied since 2008 is the financial system, which I penned another book, Debt Slavery, which will be on my channel, because I believe there's people in the alternative movement who still really don't understand what currency is, what money is, the economic system, the solutions. You have to always go back to the foundation. Yeah, when you have a problem with the structure of your house, what is it built on? And that's what we've done in this book. It's tricky to talk about it because it's limited, but the doctors have mentioned, you'll know what I think. I said 6 weeks before the lockdown in a casual chat with my friend on his YouTube channel, which has been taken down now, but I did a couple of talks in Totnes as well 6 weeks before lockdown, and I clearly stated the only thing going round is fear and hysteria. I can back that up now with data. It's been proven. There are conspiracy theories, shall we say, in the alternative that I believe have been put there. Lab leak theory, shall we say. This might get taken down for saying that, but we'll see. Again, I believe that's a genuine conspiracy theory put out there by certain people to keep people in fear. And there's other things. This medical intervention, Patrick's done a chapter on the science of that. Why there's so many reports, yellow card reports of death and damage. And again, it's difficult to know what to say on social media nowadays, but if you go back to Huxley's Brave New World, on Huxley's Brave New World, and this always stuck with me when they started talking about this new technology, mRNA vaccine, and what they claim it can do. In Huxley's Brave New World, they only physically, genetically engineered the first cell. Yeah, if you remember in the book. After that, even in the incubators, it was pure social engineering. Yeah. There's what their technology claimed is based on is a process called reverse transcription. I didn't believe that was real. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me on my studies with Patrick on cell biology. It clearly doesn't make sense when you read Huxley's book, because they only physically genetically engineered the first cell, the rest was social engineering. Evolution and adaptation, evolution of consciousness, your spirit, whatever, it's an internal thing. The energy that lies behind your genes, Bruce Lipton showed with his book, The Biology of Belief, genes don't control life. but there is an energy, a field of information that is that the genes are part of, but that is bigger than that, that holds that has potential within it. So why would we have to take on genetic material from our environment to adapt and change when the potential to change is within us? Because evolution isn't this Darwinian physical thing. It's an inner thing. The potential is already there. It can manifest when it needs. So I had a big issue with that, just by deducing that this doesn't make sense. So I've asked Patrick to put the science into it, because he can do that. And he's come back and said reverse transcription doesn't exist outside of laboratory conditions. So again, a lot of people, even alternative media, might think that's nonsense, but you have to go with the science and always pursue truth. Simple as that. So this book is out now. For anyone who doesn't like buying us Amazon, I'm just gonna have to say it straight. Anyone like me, who is a nobody, who self-publishes, the only option I have got is Amazon, because it's free. Yeah, I do the costs for the book. I've had to pay for the book cover. I've done everything else myself free because I haven't got any money. I've had to learn editing, alignment, all this kind of stuff. Friends to proofread. I've done the best I could with a zero budget. And I put 400 pages out there of what I believe is top-notch information, basically because Patrick agreed to come in with me. It would not be the book it is without Patrick. So this is on Amazon. There's no other way I can get this out apart from that. I have to use their system, their monopoly, because I haven't got a big marketing company behind me. So if you buy off Amazon, all right, they're making a commission. I'll get a little bit of a commission. If you buy from a bookstore, it will still be printed by Amazon. Yeah, doesn't make any difference to Amazon. They're not going to lose their profit. All that happens is the bookstore take my royalty. So I'm pretty much giving the book away for free if you buy it. I know people think by going to the local bookstore they're avoiding Amazon, but you're not, because they still do the printing. You know, if I had money and I could get around this, I would, but I can't, and I don't think anybody else can. So people have to appreciate I've done it. And £15 for a 400-page book written by myself, who is, you know, just a general guy, but with one of the top scientific thinking minds in the world, in my opinion. I've known Patrick for 10 years. It's an absolute bargain. That is the cheapest I could produce it at that price, just to even give some royalties. Now, regarding royalties, the other title of this job is Coco, the dog broke his leg. So I've got a dog, Coco, 3-year-old spaniel. As usual, just like us as a family, we don't use doctors. He's never been to a vet. He's never had any medicine, never had any vaccines, etc. Healthy as anything. You probably won't get insured if you didn't keep up with their schedule of vaccines anyway. So he's a healthy dog. We didn't know he had an underdeveloped elbow. It's something probably through insane human breeding that's coming in the spaniel breed in the last few years. This is what the vets have told, but nobody told us. We didn't know. Anyway, without even having an accident in the woods, it just popped and shattered. So we didn't know it was weakening over time. Shattered. Fortunately, the natural healing can't do anything for that in that trauma situation. Like I said before, if you get run over a bus, you phone the ambulance and you go to the hospital. So this is what we've had to do. By a miracle, the top surgeon, dog surgeon in the south, who only visits Cornwall 3 days a year, happened to be in the dog hospital that day when Coco was due in for surgery. So the top man did it. Has had to put screws in, plates, obviously. It's a huge operation. He's not out of the woods yet. Fortunately, it's gone as best as it possibly could go, which means he's got a decent chance of recovering. We've just got him out now. They wanted him for 3 days, but because of his natural healing power and the fact that he's a lot happier with us, they've managed to get him off the high dose opiate painkillers after 2 days. So we've got him a day early. So now you go on to natural healing. They've done their brilliant job, which medical science does do an incredible job. Now it's time for him to relax at home. We've got to keep him in a crate, apart from little pee walks, and let natural healing take over for a couple of months. So all profits from this book, and you're going to be shocked to hear, I'm shocked. Like I say, we never had insurance because we don't vaccinate. And I thought, well, if he ever breaks a leg, £1,000, a couple of grand, I'll just take that hit, because over the period of his life, the insurance would be a lot more anyway. The problem is, through incredible bad luck, he's had the worst possible fracture, multiple fracture on his elbow, and it had to be totally reconstructed. At the moment, we've got a bill of £6,500 and counting. If all goes well, let's say 7 for now, because he's on a recovery process. Then he needs a scan on the other elbow, because if what it seems now pretty clear, this is an inherited weakness, that it didn't join and developed and come together tightly, so there was always a crack there and it just weakened over time and popped. There's a slight grey area on his other one, but it's not 100% yet. If the scan comes back in a few months' time when he's healed, it's far better, not only economically, but for him to do, and simpler to do, a prevention operation than to go through this horrific. I mean, it was a horrific trauma. You don't want to see a dog in that much pain. So at the moment, it's like £6,500 and counting. Could easily go up to £9,000, maybe more. I don't know. And we're not rich people. I'm just a working man. I've had to go, but my wife banned me a couple of years ago from working Sundays, but this morning, which is a Sunday, I was out working. I've got to make the money now. It's just no option. I'm not complaining. I'm not after charity. I'm not doing a GoFundMe, sob story, nothing. You want to help Coco and his bill? Well, Coco's going to be all right, because I will sort it out. If you want to help me pay the bill, buy the book. All royalties will go to the very kind person who's gave me an interest-free loan. Yeah. Which means the debt I've got now is fixed. Yeah, so I'm not having to get a bank loan or anything like that. I've got a fixed loan from a friend who knows me and trusts me and appreciates me for what I've done. And it's times like these that you realise there are still some good people around. Yeah, because once they started talking the money in the vet of how much it's going to cost, I'm not interested. Sort the dog out, I'll deal with the money. Whatever I have to do. If I have to get 3 jobs, I'll do it. Doesn't matter. But to stay loyal to this friend who isn't a rich person either, who's borrowed in this money, interest free, I'm going to work to pay this back. So this is a double gain. You get with this book, and again, I'm not being arrogant, I'm just saying like it is, because once you get to a certain level, you have a knowing. There's always information about the human experience we're still going to learn. But as far as this book is concerned, I know this is the most top-notch information you'll get. There are other people who've mentioned earlier who've wrote articles, books, etc. about health, who is on the same level as Patrick. But what this book is not just about health and disease, it's about all my geopolitical research, the research into the monetary system, into where it's going, there's a very interesting chapter with me and Patrick. Patrick's done the climate change science, and I've done the green economy. So it's a complete book. You could carry on and write a 2,000-page book, but you have to stop somewhere. It's 400 pages of detailed information regarding the last 3 years, how we got there, where we're going, and how to hopefully avoid it. All proceeds go to Coco. It's part of the family. He's on his own little healing path now. He's home. And that's about it. There's not much I can say because of social media. There's a lot I'd like to say about this book and the information in it, but as you can appreciate, it just won't stay up on social media. But anyone who's known me and listened to other videos, you'll pretty much have a guess what's in the book anyway. Okay, thank you.